question for y'all. 4 years, $240 million. My question for y'all, what needs to be accomplished for the Dak deal to be a success? And my bonus question is going to be, is it no more, no less, as simple as this? Win a Super Bowl, I accept.
Yes.
Don't win a Super Bowl, it's a failure.
That's where I am.
Okay.
And I probably am not saying that, obviously this is hypothetical. Not saying that last year. And I'm not saying that with the last contract, because the last contract he was still young and learning and going through some things. I know we had him as a rookie and everything, but now he's paid and all that. And I was like, all right, go win football games. And hey, we want you to win a Super Bowl. As a fan, we really want this. We want you to show the success, the work that you put in. If you are really that leader that everybody on the team says that you are, then yeah, that's why a lot of it's going to fall back upon you whenever you fail to get there, whenever you fail to get even close to it. So that's why that comes back at you. And you can say it's unfair. I think Dak understands the role of the quarterback in Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth, all the areas around here. I think he understands that. But this now is, all right, they have paid you. And Jerry talked about it with Sean and RJ and Bobby and Peyton and Carter this morning. I've added Carter to the mix. That is one of those things that you're looking at saying, that's what you want. And they paid you because of your leadership, because they believe you're the type of quarterback that can do it, and you believe you can do it within this window as well. So, no, Kevin, NFC Championship is no longer the status for that, because if the contract ends and that's as far as you've got, then that wasn't what you expected in this window, and he could potentially be done as a quarterback in the NFL at that point.
All right, let me ask you a question then, because I hear what you're saying. I just want to throw out this scenario, and then we'll dive back in. When the deal's up in 5 years, because you still have this year as part of the last contract, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys have advanced to 2 NFC championship games. They won one of them, and then they got blown out in the Super Bowl.
So you're in a Super Bowl?
And then you got blown out.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
No, and I know, like, what you asked earlier about, is it just win a Super Bowl? You have to. I do believe that. But, man, if you're in that window for 2 years, like we're looking at with the Niners, it looks, you're like, you know what, man? A lot of people are going, I didn't think you could do it, and you actually got the team there. There's still going to be the detractors that are like, he never won the Super Bowl. But absolutely, you're in that window for 2 years, NFC Championship window, and you're in a Super Bowl. I mean, look at the Joe Burrows. Look at these other guys that have made it there. Now, you're still not getting the status of Troy Aikman. You're still not getting the status of Patrick Mahomes. Now, that's different.
Yeah.
You're not even getting the status of one-time Super Bowl winners. You're getting the Matt Ryan status. And I'm not saying that that's what it's all about for you, but whenever you look at the Falcons, you're like, their history doesn't lend a lot to that window. Doesn't lend a lot to being, hey, it was a successful franchise. They blew it, is what they're more remembered for. So that's where winning the Super Bowl changes that completely.
So this is what you get from the 214, but it's not unfair. If you demand 25% of the salary cap, you better be able to will a team to the Super Bowl like Mahomes. Here's the issue with that. I understand that person's point, absolutely. Not discounting that point. I just wonder if other teams, or the league doesn't seem like they have decided that's the case. Because if you look at Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, I don't think you can look at any of those players and say they can will their team to a Super Bowl. Now, maybe they will, and maybe you can argue they're younger than Dak, and they'll eventually step up to that task. But I don't think any of those people got signed thinking we can definitely have our team willed to the Super Bowl by these people. You just paid them because that's the going rate. The Cowboys just paid Dak because that's the going rate, and they fear rebuilding.
I like what you said there. And it's not just the going rate and they fear, but you asked Steven, I believe, yesterday.
Yes.
And he said
that is a part of it.
The line of, and Jerry said it too, to win right now.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to start over with, I mean, you saw what Caleb Williams struggled with on Sunday. If you're trying to start over there, you're going to have some of those bumps and bruises and learning curves along the way. Right now, you feel like you know what you have in Dak. It's just a matter of navigating a full season with a winning record and then going through all the turmoil of what the playoffs have to offer. You have to be better in the playoffs, though. And that's where, Kevin, that's where I've been frustrated. I know Dak can be a really good regular season quarterback. I've just been frustrated by playoff after playoff, the failure by the entire team. And that's where I know a lot of people are like, I don't think Jerry cares. I really do think that, like, he's kind of throwing his hands up a lot of times. In the last year they had as good of a team. They put out the effort to get it.
Sure.
They had a pretty stacked team along there. I think it was the all-in line after the game that really frustrated everybody because you thought you were going in a different direction. You thought you were going to be like, hey, we're going to do the same thing. But here they are going, hey, look, overshown. We were just an overshown away. We were just a Tim Hardaway Jr. away from this. But, I mean, the reality is overshown and some of these other players that were injured and didn't get on the field last year are going to be helpful to this team this year.
Now, what would you say to this, Corey, from the 214? Because I understand this perspective. Just get to one NFC championship game, and it's a success. I'm 31. I've never even sniffed it in my remembered lifetime. Remembered lifetime is the important key right there, because I say but about 5, give or take, is when you start to remember. So they did win a Super Bowl when you were alive. Just clearly you're not going to remember it. What do you think about the idea? Because you just said we're past, like, hey, let's get to an NFC championship game. There's a lot of people listening right now who are probably like, no, I'm not past it because I haven't ever experienced it.
Yeah. I
know you're past
I've experienced
it.
it.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but I wasn't an adult either. And
True.
my passion for the Cowboys changed right around the time, I guess, graduating high school, being on my own and having my own money to spend on things and stuff like that, and where my attention went a lot of times. So yeah, man, I'm right there with the person that's like, the experience has not been, there've been times where it's been not fun. There've been times when it's been a blast. I mean, the Dez caught it season was a blast.
Yeah.
That Romo-led group was something different than we'd ever seen with Tony Romo. Unfortunately, Dean Blandino, who some people like to make friends with, ended up screwing the Cowboys over. Like, that's the way that went. There have been other things that have happened where you just been like, what happened here? But yeah, man, I think that the expectation, if you're building towards something, as you're building your team each year, look at Chris Young. He was like, I want to build a champion.
Yeah.
I don't want to just build, a team that's going to go out there and compete for third place in the in the AL West. I want to build a champion of Major League Baseball. And if that's the real ultimate goal there, then that's the expectation. I think whenever you sign your players is that they can help me get to that spot.
The 214, Super Bowl or bust? Say it, Kevin. I can say a lot of things that I don't mean. I don't do it on this show because I'm not on ESPN. What I say on this show is what I mean, and I just don't view it that way. Maybe the Cowboys think that. I don't think personally that they think that. Their goal to me is relevancy or bust, and that's why they signed Dak. He's the closest they can get to staying in competition, because if you tore it all down, you might get back there. You might get better back there, but it's going to take a little bit.
Hey, Alec, we love Kevin, right?
Oh, no. Did I say something dumb?
Do you love when Kevin gets competitive and angry?
Oh, yeah. That's the best variety of Kevin.
Should I read this then?
Yeah, you should.
David Moore from the Dallas Morning News, who always gets to ask the first question in media scrums.
Okay.
This is his tweet. Everybody listening right now, I hope that you were listening yesterday, and I hope that you are watching the fan cam as Kevin is about to turn red.
I have
and
no
maybe
idea
punch
what
something.
he's about to say.
David Moore's tweet. Today at 11:02, you may have heard that Dak Prescott is the highest paid player in NFL history. Here's something you haven't heard. The no trade and no franchise tag provisions included in his current contract are part of the extension as well. A person with knowledge of the wording of the wording said.
The person with knowledge of that is Stephen Jones and me and Corey and Alec and Chris and Carter and everybody at 105.3 The Fan. Thanks for breaking that news that we broke 24 hours ago when I point blank asked Stephen Jones, is there a no franchise tag and no trade tag in the contract? Yes. Yes, there is.
Person of knowledge.
You know what? I get it, though. I get it. I get it.
Okay.
You could probably hear David Knorr dropping that news on the ticket. Where guess what? They hear news that's a day or two behind that they got from our station anyway all the time. So I don't know why this should be any different. Get the F out of here.
Good job yesterday, Kevin. I was really proud of that question for one. Can I ask you this too, as we're ahead of the game on this? Somebody did ask, how would you get a franchise tag when you're under contract? What would that, when Steven answered that yesterday, after you asked the question yesterday with our weekly hit with Steven, what's the thought on that one?
So essentially there's a window once your contract elapses that there's exclusive franchise tag ability by the team who you were under contract with. So this is just saying, like, let's say we advance 5 years down the road and he's out of contract. Then you cannot put the franchise tag on him even in the exclusive window.
From the 817, is this Kevin rant how the post-show phone call typically goes? Alec, would you like to answer that?
It's pretty eerily close.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, pretty close. There's lots of hitting the table to make his point. Mm-hmm. And if he's driving and talking to you, it's the steering wheel. So that is the way that goes. So
that's fine. That's fine. Thank you to everybody who is listening and paying attention.
Appreciate
We're
that.
trying to bring you the most possible updated.
I believe on
Cowboys
1053thefan.com that was in the headline too.
Yes.
So
it was on the website yesterday.
Gotcha.
It really was. It really was. All right. There you go. Appreciate the feedback very much. The overwhelming majority of people seem to think that it is going to be a Super Bowl that's going to be required for this season, for this contract, to be a success. I hear you. I get that. I'm just looking at the Cowboys team and the money that they have doled out and how they couldn't take advantage of Dak when he was on his rookie deal, how they haven't taken advantage of CD and Micah when they're on their rookie deals. I hope it happens. I desperately hope it happens. I am concerned because of the way we do contracts, it's not going to happen. Not Dak's contract.
Because of the way the contracts are structured, don't allow you to get other pieces that might be super helpful to that in free agency.
Look at this year, for example. Once the deal got done, you could have dropped Dak's cap number this year like $11 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't know who the player or players are, but if you go back to free agency and you would have negotiated this deal then, you have the potential to spend that money on this extra, whether you think it's another wide receiver, whether you think it's more help on the offensive line.
If you had more money to throw at Chris Jones than the Chiefs, is he
that
going,
would be
you know
great.
What? No. Or is he going, you know what, man, that's the most money that anybody can offer because you have some more pie left over.
That would absolutely be great.
We love pie.